rest. And after that we must submit to the will of heaven."
"What little birds are those flying about so close to the water?"
"Those? Mother Carey's chickens. You seldom see 'em except in a storm, or when a storm's coming on." The birds which William referred to were the stormy petrels.
"Were you ever shipwrecked on a desolate island like Robinson Crusoe?"
"Yes, Master William, I've been shipwrecked, but I never heard of Robinson Crusoe. So many have been wrecked and undergone great hardships, and so many more have never lived to tell what they've suffered, that it's not very likely that I should have known that one man you speak of, out of so many."
"Oh, but it's all in a book which I've read. I could tell you all about it, and so I will when the ship is quiet again. But now I wish you'd help me down below, for I promised Mamma not to stay up long."
"Then all's keep your promise like a good lad," replied the old man. "Now, give me your hand, and I'll answer for it that we'll fetch the hatchway without a tumble. And when the weather's fine again, I'll tell you how I was wrecked, and you shall tell me all about Robinson Crusoe." Having seen William safe to the cabin door, the old seaman returned to the deck, for it was his watch. Masterman Ready, for such was his name, had been more than 50 years at sea, having been bound apprentice to a collier, which sailed from South Shields when he was only 10 years old. His face was browned from long exposure, and there were deep furrows on his cheeks, but he was still a hale and active man. He had served many years on board of a man-of-war, and had been in every climate. He had many strange stories to tell, and he might be believed even when his stories were strange, for he would not tell an untruth. He could navigate a vessel, and of course he could read and write. The name of Ready was very well suited to him, for he was seldom at a loss, and in cases of difficulty and danger the captain would not hesitate to ask his opinion, and frequently take his advice. He was second mate of the vessel. The Pacific was, as we have observed, a very fine ship, and well able to contend with the most violent storm. She was of more than 400 tons burthen, and was then making a passage out to New South Wales, with a valuable cargo of English hardware, cutlery, and other manufactures. The captain was a good navigator and seaman, and moreover a good man, of a cheerful, happy disposition, always making the best of everything, and, where accidents did happen, always more inclined to laugh than to look grave. His name was Osborn. The first mate, whose name was Mackintosh, was a Scotsman, rough and ill-tempered, but paying strict attention to his duty, a man that Captain Osborn could trust, but whom he didn't like. Ready we've already spoken of, and it will not be necessary to say anything about the seamen on board, except that there were 13 of them, hardly a sufficient number to man so large a vessel. But just as they were about to sail, 5 of the seamen, who didn't like the treatment they'd received from Mackintosh, the first mate, had left the ship, and Captain Osborn did not choose to wait until he could obtain others in their stead. This proved unfortunate, as the events which we shall hereafter relate will show. Master William, whom we've introduced to the listener, was the eldest boy of a family who were passengers on board, consisting of the father, mother, and 4 children. His father was a Mr. Seagrave, a very well-informed, clever man, who, having for many years held an office under government at Sydney, the capital of New South Wales, was now returning from a leave of absence of 3 years. He had purchased from the government several thousand acres of land. It had since risen very much in value, and the sheep and cattle which he'd put on it were proving a source of great profit. His property had been well managed by the person who had charge of it during his absence in England, and he was now taking out with him a variety of articles of every description for its improvement, and for his own use, such as furniture for his house, implements of agriculture, seeds, plants, cattle, and many other things too numerous to mention.